Welcome everybody to The Good and the Bad. My name is Mokwena. I am your host, and this is the show where I look at one of the matches from the past weekend and I tell you 5 bad and 5 good things that came from those matches. Please feel free to subscribe, to like, to share, to do all of those really nice things. This match we're going to be looking at today is Marumo Gallants versus Orlando Pirates, a game that was won 2-0 by Marumo Gallants, a loss that makes it a little bit harder for Orlando Pirates in their title chase. They are 18 points behind Mamelodi Sundowns, if I'm not mistaken, and they've got 4 games in hand. So it does make it a little bit of an uphill, but let's get into the game.
Number 5.
Last season, what killed Orlando Pirates was not being outplayed by teams, was not being out-tacticked by teams. It was the fact that Orlando Pirates, when things are not right, when they're not feeling up to it, when the weather's not right, or something is off, they didn't have what it took to persevere and get past the games. And this was a reminder of one of those games. It's Marumo Gallants, not the strongest team. It's the Free State. It's your coach is in the stand. There's problems with Abu Saleh. Your star player is not on the pitch. And they just didn't have it in them to win this. Guys, winning the league is not about moments. Winning the league is about consistency. Winning the league is about winning these type of games over and over and over again. And so far, that is what sets Mamelodi Sundowns apart from everybody else. Whether you're having a bad game, whether you're tired, whether you're not feeling the game, whether you're not up to it, whether your star players are not on it. Orlando Pirates this season has been incredible. They've played out of their skins. But it's been a lot of individuals stepping up, which is not a bad thing. But these are the games that show you that maybe, man, everything is not together. Maybe they're not quite there in order to take advantage of this and to have the consistency to go win. So I think that is the first bad that we're going to cover.
Number 4.
One of the problems with Orlando Pirates, especially when Tito is not on the pitch, is that nobody wants to take the responsibility of the middle. We've spoken over the past few weeks about Makaula, who's incredible defensively, who's incredible at covering the defense, but is not a player that can really put his foot on the ball and play it up. That's not his job. So then you look at his partner, Utalente Mbata, and he's often hiding. He hides behind players. He doesn't want the ball at his feet. There was a time where he was even hiding on the front line at some point. Well, you need somebody who can come in and really anchor that team, or at the very least show that they want the ball. This is where maybe Abondlondo, for all of their weaknesses, are a little bit better in that deep-lying 6 role where they don't mind having the ball. And yes, they might lose the ball, but it doesn't take away the fact that he shows up, he shows for the ball, he takes the ball. Then you look at the top of that 3 at Udlamini. I don't think Dlamini is a bad player. I just think Udlamini is a secondary player. He's not the guy. He plays well with the guy. But when he's asked to be that progressive midfielder that links everything, I think they're found wanting. Utito, I've often said that even if Utito is not assisting or doing much in a game, there's moments where you see what Tito's importance is to Pirates. I call him the regulator. He's the one that makes sure, are we pacing up? Are we slowing down? Is the game getting away from us? Do I need to just dribble gancane just to calm us down? Or do we need to up the tempo? So Utito becomes very important in that type of role. And I'm not sure that Urile has grown into that. So Pirates need more players that can take responsibility in the middle. Dlondlo, Musele, Tim, they might not be the best players, but they make themselves felt in the midfield. And it's not just the midfield. I have complained about the Pirates' defense for a very long time now, because the goals that they're conceding are the same exact goals that they concede every single week. The tightest goal was this. The Cape Town City goals was this. You cannot have Oki and CBC be your last man all the time. You cannot have your left and right back both pushing up and putting pressure on Makaula to not only hold the middle, but to also cover the sides. You cannot do that. And this is what Pirates does over and over and over again, and they will be punished even more if not for Marumo Gallants' bad decision making. This game is completely different. This game is embarrassing for Pirates. It's embarrassing because they showed you this. When Reynolds outpaced your defense and put a ball through and showed you that Koki and Sibisi are two players that follow the ball and leave spaces centrally. When Cape Town City could have done that a couple of times where they were one square pass away from punishing. When Marumo Gallants is killing you on the counter and the only thing saving you is decision making. That's where problems come from. So Jose Rivero, tlogela go experimenta ka bo Shandu ko right wing. Tlogela go experimenta ka bo Hoto ka di all saver. Get that defense solid. If it means back three with wing backs, if it means that your wing backs, when one goes, the other one stays, something needs to be done. Because Pirates is going to be exposed a lot this season thanks to that. So it's not just the midfield and the responsibility of the midfield that is lacking. It's also defensive awareness.
Number 3.
Hey, there's a pandemic of decision making. There's a huge problem in the PSL with decision making. Last week, I spoke about Cape Town City. That Cape Town City playing versus Orlando Pirates, if they had made better decisions, they would have gotten better chances. Marumo Gallants, far and away, should have maybe made this game 3 or 4-0. Marumo Gallants actually played a very great game, barring the fact that they make bad decisions. Just look at the goal that was scored, the on goal Yagambata. That was, trying to play it back across was the wrong thing. The PSL needs to do something about our forward players, because across the league we're facing a thing where when they get into the final third, they don't know how to finish games. And especially against teams like Orlando Pirates, I will always say, you will always get chances versus Pirates, but it's up to you to go and take them. And Marumo Gallants, fine, they got through, they got their 2 goals. But if not for the 2 goals, if Pirates was to score 1, it's a completely different game. So for me, I need our strikers, I need Gallants, specifically Abo Mhango, Abo Dion, Kimang, Lindoga, to really work on their finishing, on their decision making, so that they can make these games better. So that when they go into the other games and they're playing against their peers, that is what they carry into the game and they finish chances. But that is what I'm thinking about the number 3.
Number 2.
You guys don't want to believe me when I say that we give Orlando Pirates way more credit in terms of the front 3, in terms of Mfukeng, in terms of Mabasa, in terms of, I could add Tito, in terms of Shandu as playing there, but normally it's Abonkota. We give them way too much credit. I don't think Pirates have a fluid front line. I don't think that front line has clicked for plenty of games this season. But they've been bailed out by individual brilliances that have come from everywhere. Which is a good thing in itself, that there is a time where the players you don't expect to step up. But if you're going to be consistent over a league season, you need your big players, your big strikers, your front four, they need to click. Pirates has now faced a couple of teams that maybe had a little bit of structure to their game. Marumo Gallants did very well to have a defensive part and an attacking part, and they made sure that in defense they have a back 5, they have 6 or 7 players committed to defense. They make sure that Abu Mfukeng abana space on the left and right hand side, Baba Kwala. And you start to see that Pirates lacks options, moves, tactics. Now, I will give them credit. There was a 5-10 minute period where they upped the tempo and you could see the chaos that Pirates was trying to create. I think it resulted with somebody hitting the side netting, if I'm not mistaken. After a ball was played through, Mfukeng dragged the defender, and there was a free man in the box. You saw it for more 10 minutes. But for most of the game, you don't see the impact of Shandu. I don't know why Shandu's playing right wing, but Shandu. You don't see the impact of Mfukeng. And Mfukeng has incredible moments. But when you look at his full games, you wonder. Abu Mabasa, if the ball is not falling right, he sort of disappears. So I think Pirates needs to go back to the drawing board, figure out how they want to play, figure out what they want to do. My idea of it is that Pirates is usually a very fast counter-attacking team, and they haven't been playing fast counter-attacking football. They've been essentially holding the ball a little bit too long at times, and then trying to play long balls into the back or going up the wings. And by the time you reach the byline, a lot of the time the other team is set, and that takes away the danger of most of your players that play there. Pirates on transition is incredible. Pirates holding the ball is not. So hopefully that is something that they're going to look at.
Number 1.
Games in hand are often the worst thing to have because they put pressure on you. Especially when you're chasing someone who just keeps winning. So when Pirates is resting and not playing, or when Pirates has some time off, I think momentum goes away. My theory is that earlier in the season, what was really helping Pirates was that they were playing game after game after game after game. And I think it became easier for them to maybe switch off the thinking part and just go with the momentum that you have. You win versus Disciples, you win the league, you win here, you win the MTN8. And because you're playing back to back to back to back to back to back to back, there's no time to rest. There's no time to think too hard. There's no time to assess. There's no time to want to tinker and change. You're just in the motion of moving. And what has hurt Pirates is the breaks. I know some of them were forced, Royal AM and things like that, but there are the breaks where Pirates then maybe starts thinking a little bit too hard. You know, I'll use the example of strikers. There are some strikers that are really good at just finishing, instinctual finishing. The ball drops into the box, first time he scores. The ball comes in, he's got no time to think, he's a poacher, he scores. Mara umnigezi one-on-one, where he has to run from, let's say, just past the halfway line all the way to the keeper, and you know, they're thinking, do I put it here? Do I do this? Do I do this? Do I do that? And they miss. I think that is what Pirates is going through. And the sad part about games in hand, especially versus the Sundowns team, is you sort of have to wait for Sundowns to start faltering or start losing, you know, their way on losing games. That's when you can feel the power of games in hand. You think about Kaizer Chiefs when they lost to Mamelodi Sundowns on the final day. Those last 5 games, Chiefs was dropping points. And I think that gave Sundowns a boost nyana, to say, okay, we just need to win this, we just need to win this. Yeah, they're dropping points, we're going. But had Chiefs continued to open that gap, I think it's a completely different race. And I think this is what Pirates is facing. But that does lead me into the good. Okay, so I know I stopped the video a lot, and a lot of you are wondering, why are you asking for money? So I wanted to show you. I asked for money because I want to do more of this. Huh? But the truth of the matter is that it took over an hour in order just to render that shot. And it takes even longer when I'm doing my normal content because, guys, here's the unsung hero of the channel. And unfortunately, Shem, but the screen is broken. I have to use a second screen, and the performance is not up to it. So I'd really love to upgrade things like that. And when you look over here, this is what the setup looks like. Rehenga di patlo and rehenga di green screen, which is a reality of being a South African content creator. Also, this is what people think is my studio. It's actually my house. So if you still don't know that I'm doing all of this from my home, then I don't know. But that is essentially what I want to do. More of these cool things. But I need you guys to please help me out by donating 50 Rand or more into this account. You know, we're fighting for multi-choice. And for multi-choice, but there is subscription models all over the place. And I'd love to give the biggest quality while also being able to pay my rent and do things like that. That is where your money is going. And I promise to give you only the best content that I can if you do throw something in. So I just wanted to show you guys what I want to do with your money. I want to take this South African football and fulfill my dream of taking it into the future. But thank you guys so much. Remember, this is the bank account that you deposit into. Get back into the video.
Number 5.
Two things are happening for Orlando Pirates right now. Number one, what's nice is that you've got games in hand. If they were to win all 4 of the games in hand that they have, they would only be 6 points behind Sundowns, which is something that is manageable, I think. So it's nice to get a wake-up call now, where maybe they get a chance to go back to the drawing board. They get a chance to go back and look at things and bring in different players and try different schemes. But I think the most important thing that this gap opening up gives them is that Orlando Pirates is losing some of that pressure. It's nice to be an underdog that is not expected to do anything, because I feel like a lot of these games now had been games where Pirates was coming in with expectations from themselves, from the coaches, from the team, from the fans. And when you fall back and people start saying things like, the league is gone, I think that takes the microscope off of Pirates a little bit and allows them some leeway to play some games without pressure. The tough thing about games in hand also is that it makes you think to the future. You don't think about what's happening right now. I'll give you an example. You could see it with the fans of Orlando Pirates. They were talking about, okay, Chiefs needs to beat Sundowns. Chiefs must beat Sundowns. We trust our neighbors, what, because they're thinking forward to, okay, if Sundowns drops points now, then we can do the calculation and we can come in and 3 points and 4 games and what. They were doing all of that instead of focusing on a game by game basis. And this loss, I believe, and I know it's going to sound like one of those silver linings or we're trying to create a positive, but this game and this result allows Pirates to go back to being a team that is in the hunt for the league, not a contender for the league. And for Pirates in the league, I think that is going to be incredible.
Number 4.
Freystata man. You know, I know the stadium wasn't packed to the rafters, but it's so good to see fans come out. And maybe it's because I'm a nostalgic person, you know, the nostalgia of seeing Botha with the other Bloemfontein Celtic fans is so great to see football back in Free State. Now there's things that were happening outside of the pitch that we'll touch on another day, but they've shown up for Bafana. They've shown up sometimes for Marumo Gallants, not always, but they've shown up. And in these big games, for Gallants, they've come out in numbers. And I just wanted to take a short passage and say, well done to the Free State fans, man. Well done to the people that side, because, yeah, they've been starving for football. We've been starving for them. And maybe those things can spill over to all other fans. And we can start seeing full stadiums, even when it's not Pirates coming through.
Number 3.
Okay, another silver lining of this. I think now Pirates' hand is being forced in order to bring on other players. What's interesting about a run sometimes, it's not even about fatigue physically. It's not even about form. Sometimes it's just mentally you need a break. Sometimes the team just needs to do something different. Sometimes you need to explore your options. I'll point to Sundowns again. The way they win is not the same. So I am so happy to see Abondlondlo coming onto the pitch, Abondlozi coming onto the pitch, other players that maybe deserve some time. The game versus Cape Town City saw Abondlondlo, Nabomosele come in and control a game. And I would have thought that Coach Jose and his team would have brought in those guys to start in this game and capitalize on, the momentum that they have built from playing that game. So, negli surprised to bona ore Jose is still going with the first starting lineup, even though unale di player ko benching who could come in and make a difference. So the nice thing about being forced right now is that these are minutes that maybe Ndondlo wouldn't have gotten. And now you've got another option. Now you've got somebody who can come in and do something. Which is always a good thing, especially when you've got a long season ahead of you, which Pirates does have. So rotating is always great.
Number 2.
Yazi bathi khona le yellow bone yase Marumo Gallants man. Khona le yellow bone edlala ka left ebulala abantu. Look, I've only seen a handful of Zindoga's games. I don't know where he came from. Mara, what a player. What a player, the pressing, the passing, the pressure. Do you know what Zindoga was able to give Marumo Gallants, along with the other guys? I'm going to give Abomhango credit. Was that going forward, you could counter. And countering was great because Pirates' defense was all over the place. Koki, CBC, and the two wingers, the two wing backs are gone. They leave Koki and CBC. Makaula's always playing catch up. And now when you have a player that can take you left and drag you that side, you have Mhango that can take you the other way and drag you the other side, you start to see the seams of your Pirates. You start to see where Pirates falls apart. And what was interesting about this game is that Marumo Gallants allowed Abo Zindoga Nabomhango to stay up. There was a brief period beginning of the second half where they sat back and Pirates gained confidence and they were playing and they created chaos and the defense was in 6s and 7s. Then they remembered, oh, okay, remember, you must carry on going forward. One of the mistakes that Cape Town City made last time when they played the Pirates was they came a point where they were playing low block, full low block with no release. And players like Abu Zindoga, man, they give you that ability to go forward. He holds the ball. He's confident on the ball. He can beat players. I think he's one of the players to watch.
Number 1.
Overall, I don't know if it was new manager bounce. I don't know if this man is coaching fully, like in terms of now it's his coaching and tactics. I don't know. But all I know is that not only were Marumo Gallants prepared, but they were also well structured and disciplined. That is not Dan Dance's Marumo Gallants. That is not Dan Dance's Marumo Gallants that that doesn't know when to defend, when to go forward, that doesn't know how to keep shape, you know. It was always either one speed, siapambili, no matter what, or we're sitting back completely. And that is why last game out, they caught 8. This one said, what if we make 2 teams in our starting lineup? There's a team that stays back, and that team sits at the back and controls and follows Abomfuke and follows all these guys and keeps them quiet. And then the dangerous part, or the better part is we have danger going forward so that Pirates can't relax. You could see Pirates trying to up the volume at some points, but they kept going at them. Case in point, Mbata scoring an on goal, for example. Mbata's usually not the one there. But because Marumo Gallants was like, no, it's corner nati, we're going to go forward. It's corner nati, so press us in push. Mas toli pola sial keeper. Then we go forward and we attack you. I loved that. And I think the question now is always, you have a plan when you play versus Pirates. You have a plan when you play against Sundowns. You have a plan when you play against Chiefs. Can you have a plan when you play against Richards Bay? Can you have a plan when you play against the other teams? And can you put together some consistency? PSL teams love having flashes of brilliance when they're playing, where they show us that they actually can do some higher grade things. Mara makumele bazenze against their own peers, they struggle. So my challenge to Gallants is, now we know what you can do, that you can be structured and organized and disciplined. Now, let's spend the rest of the league being structured, organized, and disciplined. But otherwise, well done to Marumo Gallants for a well-deserved 3 points. I'll see you guys on the next one.